Terry, how are you? Yeah, it is a beast out there, but it was beautiful yesterday, but we're paying for it all over again today.
Oh, Hannah, I guess maybe. How are you?
I'm all right.
Did any breeze up on Spruce Knot?
No,
Nice and fine.
just in the kitchen.
Yeah,
I got the AC on in one room.
me too. Living room downstairs. Brenda sleeps down there. I'm up above it and probably a 30-degree difference.
Yeah.
Oh, it is what it is. Won't be long, we'll be complaining about the cold.
That's right.
And yesterday was actually the average peak. And every day thereafter, the average temperature goes down a little bit.
No, okay.
Starts going down a little bit. That's the historical average.
Really?
So,
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
In August, yeah.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
week from
Yeah.
tomorrow,
I
right?
would have figured August would have been the peak, but
It's funny how those little weather idiosyncrasies are interesting. Oh, I don't know, I forgot to bring the water. Do you want a water or?
no, I got a soda over here. I'm good.
Here. How's things? Nice job on the RFPs and the
Yeah.
job descriptions and. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, we'll get some feedback about those tonight. That'll be good.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, I actually printed an agenda, and what did we do with it? No.
Sorry, I wrote a couple of things on the agenda before I copied it, so the one that's photocopied there is the most current.
Huh, wonder what the hell they did to it.
I'm gonna make this guy.
Huh. Do not know, but I guess it doesn't really matter, actually.
Yeah.
But I left it upstairs, it's probably. I've got a couple of prices for trees on town land,
Oh,
get to
okay.
that. And I did.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Select Board meeting of July 24th. The meeting is being recorded. We are called to order as of 7:01 p.m. Terry, who we got?
So we have for the select board chairman, Herb Childress, Carl Haynes, myself. Town officers, we've got Jenny Talkey-Muniak, we have Crystal Haynes from the Middletown Springs Library, and from the public, we have Robert McMahon, and also our public in our transportation study committee.
Yep. And just joining us online, we have Sean Rupp.
Oh, okay, Sean's on. Sean by via Zoom. Okay.
All right, very good. Are there any additions to or deletions from tonight's agenda? You'll see on the photocopied agenda that I hand out, I added a couple of things after a conversation with David Wright yesterday. Hearing none, let's talk about the July 10th regular meeting minutes. Everybody had a chance to review.
I'll move that acceptance.
Thank you.
I'll second.
I'll second. All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Very good. Sean is also online. Bill? Bill, pass the agenda over to Bill.
Hi, Billy.
Okay, public comment. Anybody here as a member of the general public? Hearing none, let's go off to town officers. I have no report from the town clerk. Treasurer, have a report?
Just a couple things, the, tax bills are just about ready to send out. And, I'll probably send them out on Friday, August 1st. And the online payment portal is set up on our website.
I saw that.
Yeah, so I'll be publicizing that as it's in a flyer, with the tax bills, and I will do the front porch forum and the town newsletter to publicize that.
That's great.
That's pretty cool. So we'll see how it goes.
Thank you for doing all the legwork on
Oh,
that.
yes.
Yeah, now let's see if it blows up the first day we use it.
I know, really, I know, and yeah,
That's the online payment portal, right?
the online tax payment.
That's great.
Yeah, and if it works out well, I've said this before, if Patty wanted to hook on with dog licenses or, whatever, we can easily add that,
That's cool.
no expense to the town,
Good.
and that's it.
All right. The only thing I have is, only thing I have as health officer is that we do have a report of a mosquito-borne illness, not in a human, but actually in the mosquito itself in Rutland Town. So summer's here and it's a new one that I haven't heard of. It is the Jefferson Canyon virus. So it's not Triple E and it's not,
What's Nile?
West Nile. It's a third one that they're looking at this year. And so they do pools and they test the mosquitoes around various pools in the state. And that one is the first one they've seen so far this year. So don't get bit.
It's not
Sure.
And
Jamestown Canyon.
upstate New York, they had a bat test positive for rabies. That was on the news last night, so.
Okay.
Um, I don't think we have big swarms of them anymore. They're pretty well been cleaned out around here, but
I've seen a lot more droppings this year than in years past, so I think they're, they're not all wiped out like they were during the white nose syndrome year. I had one a couple of days ago. I bumped was on the porch roof and one of the shutters was loose, so I put that back on and I bumped one of the other shutters, There was one shutter that had a ton of bat poop under it. I don't know if that's where it came from or not, but I was walking back across the porch and something brushed against my hand. And it was a bat, he flew off. And this was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But I didn't go to get to see it, see the other white nose or whatever. That's one of the symptoms. They go out in the middle of the day flying around.
Right. Right. They can't sleep.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So town officers, that was pretty cool. Let's go on to town highways. Bill, what's happening?
All right, here's something for you to look at. I'm not sure what it is. Something to do with John Deere.
Okay. Thank you, by the way, for the calcium on the road. I appreciate that. What do we got?
There's calcium on the road too.
It keeps the dust down. And if we could get this approved, the GIA grant for 2025. It's just gotta be the startup. Meeting's gotta be emailed into him. It's all done, just somebody's gotta submit it, so I figured that was usually you.
Yeah, is that the same thing we have in our
Is that the
correspondence?
same as this that we had? I think that's a generic copy of it, maybe.
So the way it usually works is when I sign it, then it goes back in the correspondence folder and Patty will send it in.
No, this is the newest one that we applied for this year, so we got one. You got one for next year for
Yeah.
15,000.
15 grand, yeah. Okay, so we got two of them. All right, good. So this, I have no idea what this is. This is a governmental transaction. Billed by United Construction Forestry in Springfield, $146.83. Payment status deferred. And John Deere proper, the power plan, which is their financing company, has, for whatever reason, sent us a bill for $0, so it continues to be deferred. So it's another burden.
Interesting.
Okay, so
Yeah.
things that we've been doing is storm damage repairs, spot grading, ditching, hauling white material, filling potholes, clean off Route 140 loose materials multiple times, apply calcium where needed, equipment maintenance, the layout of GIA grant. I had Philip actually do the paperwork end of it so that he could get used to it, and he picked it up on it.
Right.
No problem. So,
It's
um, yeah. Applying calcium where it's needed, equipment maintenance, the layout of the GIA grant, rock rake and pick stones, all other general road maintenance, and just for a heads up of what I've been preaching right along about the, person doing the billing and all that, or going over the bills, coding them and all that. Here's a mistake that was made at Casella's, and Philip had punched in the code on kiosks at Casella's, and it was he put it in for 3/4 crushed gravel, which we were getting 3/4 plant mix, and it was only 2 loads, but I pointed it out to him, so he's aware now, making sure you know what the material is, so you punch it in, because it can get costly. The difference in price is the 3/4 crushed gravel is $12.50 a ton. 3/4 plant mix is $11.25 a ton.
so
So
no
when
big
you
deal
start,
this time, but
when you start looking at, 18 ton to a load,
right.
8 loads a day, if it's not picked up, noticed right off, then you're probably talking in the thousands of dollars for a day over. So I just happened that the second load I picked up on what he was doing, corrected him, so everything is.
Cool.
But those are the types of things.
Right.
Someone needs to, I mean, if I was just sitting back and doing this once a week and coding bills and everything,
Right.
I'd have no idea.
Okay. Good. What's coming up the next week or two?
Hopefully we'll have the mowing machine back. And when Philip's on the mower, I'm gonna be continuing to grade as we get moisture here and there.
Okay.
Still hauling, I haven't hauled a lot of material because I didn't want to have everything turn right to dust and deal with another issue, so.
Right. Good. All right.
And then there's several things that I have on here, and I think that should probably wait until we get into further discussions of the road commissioner duties.
Okay. Very good. All right. Road commissioner have a report?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Any other things we need to talk about? Okay, further discussion of road commissioner duties. Carl, do you have a chance to put together a proposal?
I considered it, but I have not written one.
Okay, good. We'll take that when it's here.
Okay, I guess I should wrap this one up under the road foreman stuff, but I can't open Terry's minutes from the date of when Chuck was hired.
Oh, yeah.
So I just had a question on his date of hire was,
His start date's gonna be September 1st.
yeah, but his date of hire.
What is the date?
March 27th, correct?
I don't know.
I believe so.
Have to look. Let's look at. Oh, September 2nd.
Labor Day.
That's early.
Yeah.
And the meeting where we made the offer was March 27th. Yeah.
And I couldn't open those minutes up, so I
Okay.
don't know what transpired with you coming out of executive session and actually hiring him.
Mhm.
So what I was looking for was, what rate of pay was he hired at
25.
with benefits?
Yes.
Okay, and how was that determined that he would be? What was the reasoning for that rate of pay being offered? Was it because of the CDL?
It's partly because of the CDL, and it's partly because he will have extensive managerial responsibilities. And because he's full-time, he'll qualify for benefits.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, is because that kind of hurt me a little bit, because that's more than what I make after 30 years, and I have my CDL.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering, should I be paid from the date that you hired him at $25 an hour, retroactive pay back to them, because I have my CDL and that set precedence? He was hired at that rate of pay with benefits.
Mhm. Well, we can have that conversation. We haven't talked about it.
And then I have quite a few other concerns that it's kind of gonna be looked at probably as a mudslinging thing, but it's been on my chest since the May Knox, see two guys going to purchase a torch tip, and concerns that were brought up, and other concerns keep coming up, like the loose gravel on 140 all over town, how unsafe it was, and
Right.
it didn't come back to the board, it's just all over town.
Right.
Um,
So before you go on, I'm gonna stop you for just a second. I'm not gonna cut you off, but I'm gonna stop you for a second. And say. Think about how we can frame things to be productive in the future. This town, like every other town, is full of railbirds.
Mhm.
And they're gonna quack all the time.
I know.
And you don't have to pay any more attention to them than you do the squirrels barking in the trees.
Yeah.
So, think carefully about what matters for the town going forward. And what's personally offensive, which God knows we all get that.
And everything that I've got to say, it is in the town's best interest, because I was put in the position I'm in because of the way things were being done in the past. I've done this job on principle for a lot of years. And that's why the pay and all that has never really been an issue with me. I've worked 3 jobs the whole time that I've worked full-time here. And I feel that a lot of times I come to the meeting and I hear, well, we're not informed enough. Well, I touch base with Terry on the things I think are important, and anybody is more than. You can stop at the garage any morning. If you have concerns, come and say something. Go out on a ride along. Robin Benjamin used to do that. Terry does quite a bit. As a matter of fact, we're meeting tomorrow morning to go look at a few things. But I guess, that thing with a small item, I haven't had a chance to get with Jenny to go back and look at the timesheets on the day that the torch tips were purchased. But I don't know, it went by months before I was aware that there was an issue there about 2 guys and all that. I mean, it's kind of hard to just think of what happened that day. If I look at the timesheets, that might give me some more, put some more light on it. But my whole point is that I got doing this because I was probably the biggest critic on the way my tax dollars, my parents' tax dollars were being spent on the roads that weren't being maintained and brought up to the standard that they should be. And it goes back, I mean, if we're gonna point fingers, my concerns with Carl wants to have control of the whole budget and all that. Well, my concerns go back to when he managed the road crew before, as a select board member. I mean, there's things like, the concerns of the past management practices. If you go back in the records, anything I tell you, it can be researched. It might go back quite a while, but anything that I tell you, you can go back and find the documentation of it. Concerned about two guys going in and get the torch tip, but things are left out that when Carl was looking to, lease the land for the school septic down here, that me and another town employee were sent down there with a piece of town equipment on private property to dig a test hole to see that if the town would lease that land.
Right.
So that's private property. It never should have happened. It did. And there's a lot more things like that that had happened. At one time, there was gravel sold out of Carl's pit.
Hmm.
And the town agreed to buy it on the samples that he brought in. Well, after the pile was crushed and the select board took samples and it failed miserably, it wasn't bought. And I think things like that are why Carl's trying to stick it to me all the time. It doesn't matter that it was Carl, if my brother pulled something like that, I'd do the same thing. Because it's gonna reflect back on me. I'm using that material to put on the roads and it's gonna reflect back on me. So if management like has happened in the past, I have big concerns of what's gonna keep it from happening in the future. It's just like back with the equipment. We had certain truck drivers that never went out to bid. There was a good old boys club and they went on about. They gave a price for a truck and they were hired. There's
So hang on, we can all go back and pick things out of the past that we're not happy with. The question that I have is, how do we defend ourselves? How do we act productively? How do we build a team that we treat respectfully for the next 5 years? What happened in the past, as unfortunate as it may be, is in the past.
and there again,
And whatever's barking in, on the side of the road or sitting on the porch is just yap. So how do we make things work? Not how do we, again, light a firecracker?
and I'm telling you how I feel that I've made them work, and again, I feel like I'm not even being heard. There's no point in me even being here to say anything. Because I don't feel that I'm being heard with my concerns of things that have happened in the past.
Yeah.
That we have no way of preventing from happening in the future with the same people that are involved.
No,
And I'll leave it at that.
No, I agree with that. But everything we're talking about should be framed in terms of what best practices do we want to put in place starting September 1st? And so if we have stumbled in the past, those should inform our next steps. But I want to forestall the sort of endless airing of grudges that everybody loves to do. I know that you have been abused. That's why I joined the select board 10 years ago. Because you were getting the concerned citizens letters. That's why I started.
Right there.
Right.
Brought with me.
So I understand. But that's a conversation you and I can have on the porch. That's not for the select board.
I'll make you for coffee.
There you go. That's not for the
That's where-
select board in terms of moving things forward. Right? So I wanna be forward looking right now. As much as possible.
Well, I was raised under the rule of, if you're gonna throw stones, you better board up your windows.
Yeah, and I was raised under the rule of anybody can keep a fight going, it takes a grown up to stop it.
Well, I guess I
So-
haven't grown up yet.
Yeah,
because
so,
There's still things that are coming at me and
Oh, I know.
bet your ass I'm not gonna let them go.
okay. So. I'm going to do my best to try to let it go. But that's me on a short timer too.
So lessons learned is that we know that people that were involved in the road in the past weren't the best for our town. So I would just use that in consideration going forward. Maybe you don't work with those people that have had bad history with us, because people generally don't change.
I would just say, I would just caution everybody to I mean. You're saying that, like, lesson learned is that the folks in the past were bad for the town, based on what measure.
Records that I've.
I mean, it's.
Things that I've brought up.
It's just like,
I
just
understand.
like, let's try to be a little, like, it can very easily get personal and just let's try to keep it on. What are the
I understand.
what are the things that we know, the facts? But I think the one thing that used to not maybe have, and that you do now, is a really clear purchasing policy,
Right.
which has specific limits on prices about over which and below which you have to get more than one quote, you have to get, and I think many things, especially the larger purchases in the highway department budget, fall into those money categories. So there's clear guidance now about, there can't be like the boys club or the whatever club it is, because you have to follow purchasing policy. So I think with a little more structure,
My
some of
point
those
is,
things
I
are
was just
resolved.
trying to recap what Bill was trying to convey.
no,
I
I hear
heard
that.
from him, and that's what I was just explaining, and I'm not dissing.
Yeah, no, I hear
You
that,
don't
I
have
hear
to
that.
explain
Yeah,
that to me.
no,
I
I get that.
understand. I'm a big girl too.
You know, nobody's saying that you weren't.
This is gonna be a deeply unpleasant meeting.
No, I'm done, I'm
All right.
done. I'll-
Alright. Now,
No, it is. We can move forward.
there you go, okay. So one of the things, I mean, we have 150-page policy line. We have personnel policies, we have purchasing policies, we have a lot of things. And those are only as good as the select board's willingness to read them, understand them, and remember them. And I don't remember them. I don't remember everything that's in the policy manual,
It's
right?
a long document.
So it is not the easiest thing in the world to just say, well, the policy covers that, right? We have to be kind of up to speed about, you know, if I had to summarize the policy document in 10 bullet points, what would they be? I can remember that. And then I know where to look, right? But I don't remember what subclause 31 of the purchasing policy says, right? That's beyond me. So being, you know, trying to figure out a way to be up to speed on what the policies and the management guidelines are, so that we don't trip over ourselves and make mistakes that we've already written out of fair play, is a difficult thing. We have to be attentive to that. All right.
I'd just like to ask one thing,
Yeah.
that were there any concerns of any of the board members of work that was done last week or the week before that should be brought to attention? Because right now, we've got timesheets. Anything that was done, it should be logged on those timesheets. If we know about it, we can look at it. They're in the orders tonight.
Mhm.
I've got a copy of my timesheet for this week.
Right.
So if there's issues, I'd kind of like to know
Yeah.
tonight, for at least a 2-week period.
Yeah.
Nothing I'm aware of, and per your comment, discussion, whatever, on the West Street shoulder across from Jerry Parker's, I specifically asked Bill if he could look at that and do something with it, because that hole there was awful. I think I mentioned it here, obviously, and I know for a fact if I had met a 10-wheel dump truck or something on that corner and hit that pothole and lost a wheel, the town would have been paying for it, I can guarantee it.
Was that the inside of the curve by the town property? Yeah.
Yeah, just as you cross the bridge, there's a compass hole.
Yeah.
So anyway, and thank you for fixing that.
I rebuilt the whole shoulder. I wanted to
Yeah.
use the ground tailings. They didn't have any in brown, so this material that I got, I thought it would work pretty good. But once it dried out, the cars come by and they were just sucking the fines right into the road.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't half as bad as some of the ends of some of the like Lookout Lane and some of those, Norton Road,
Right,
where there's a lot more brownstone and stuff, and it's washed out into the road. We cleaned that up with the blower and stuff too as we went along. But the roundstone's a lot worse than you could ever imagine that being. The only thing I wanted to try to keep up with that down there was because of the location of it coming off the bridge approach into a small corner. I was worried they had a bike event last
Right.
week. I got it cleaned up. We got the rain, washed some more out in there, and we've been working at it since the material was put down.
Yeah.
So we put some calcium down there to try to get it to pack and hold in place too.
Yeah. But to Bill's point, I do want to just reiterate, if we have a concern about something that we've seen happening, we should raise it in time to be a management choice rather than hold it in abeyance and then recall it 6 months later and say, oh yeah, that. Because we can't change somebody's behavior and without addressing it when it happens. So every select board meeting is our chance to give feedback about things that we're frustrated by or concerned about.
Did we get it? Did we get any service requests on that down there?
Not that I've seen. Anything in the correspondence tonight?
No,
Yeah.
not that I've seen. And I didn't fill out a service request, I had. Bill and the highway crew at a, public meeting.
I mean, it's not like you have to fill out a service request form every time, if it's a safety matter and someone mentions it. I'll usually just take care of it right then, rather than wait for the service request and all that, but.
Right.
The only thing that the service request was ever designated for was pothole, dust, something like that.
Right.
Because if somebody complains about a pothole at the store, I get in my car with my coffee. I forgot about it by the time I get my coffee,
Right.
and it doesn't get taken care of. If
Mhm.
it comes in front of me in writing where it puts us at a liability.
Right.
That's why it works.
And then it comes back to us in writing and we have to deal with it too.
Yeah,
So
good attracting thing.
good. All right. Let's roll ourselves forward into town lands. Town office, I don't think there's anything special happening. Amanda has been doing evening watering. And the grass is catching finally and filling in pretty well.
So
So
maybe one thing on town office.
What you got?
Town office. I met with a tree company. Yesterday, Tom Johnson Trees Incorporated, I'd like to pass this around. But out in this corner here, southeast corner, there's 4 roughly 10-inch stems of box elder. And at least one of them is actually touching the roof right now, so I've got a price to take them down, just a brush. And in the modern world, I'm not gonna try to get 3 separate prices, 3 different contractors. The board wants to approve it, they can approve it, if not, somebody else can do it.
yeah, 785 is pretty good.
It's about a month out, and I told them to put us on the schedule, is a month out, and I told them to put us on.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Anything less than $2,000, you don't.
Right, yeah, I know.
It's close.
So I'll make a motion to contract with Tom Johnson Trees Incorporated to remove the 4 box elders on the town office property.
Well, and if you're looking for one, I have, that's one of my own, I have one for the old cemetery, maybe you wanna look at it now, there's a.
Which trees are
If
we?
anybody's been over there working on patio when we're doing the cleanups, there's a. Wood stem black cherry that's literally grown between and into and whatever, 2 old stones over there. So it's not a very big tree, I was gonna take it down 5 or 6 years ago, and obviously never did. But I wouldn't do it now. It's a hand climber, and anyway, so,
Yeah,
and we had money in the cemetery, full cemetery budget. And I would propose that we do that, and maybe we can do this.
I'll amend my motion and we'll take both of them.
Thank you. And also Bill and I didn't get a chance to find Bill yesterday, but if you wanna look at that. When we get him here, maybe you can do some of that up on Daisy Hall, but ask him to stay an extra day or whatever.
Sean, now's your chance if you want.
I think my mic wasn't working. Can
Very
you
good.
hear me
Muted.
now?
I can't hear you.
Now I got it.
You can hear.
Very good. So
Okay.
moved and seconded, Ron.
Sure.
All those in favor?
Right.
Aye. That's 4.
Thank you, Herb.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it.
Who seconded that, by the way?
Sean.
Second, okay, well, thank you, Sean.
All right. Update on library planning. We have
Yeah.
somebody here who's qualified for that.
Say that. All right, so here is a copy of our financial outfit. It doesn't come early because we only meet the day before this, so I can't get it to you before now. So this is just a monthly sort of, it's just 1 page. Yeah, it's copies of, you can pass. Robert, you can pass that. If you could pass another one. Oh, maybe he can't hear me. There you go. I copied it. That should. That should be enough. Anyway, so this is just sort of the breakdown of what's been spent so far and where we are. It's same month to month, except more things come in. Reimbursements continue to happen pretty quickly. Although a little more slowly than initially, presumably they're getting a lot more submissions for reimbursement now, so it's slowed down a little bit. The construction bidding closed, I think, on June 30th. And so they're working on getting their contract together. Peter's been in touch with them. There's a couple of blank spots in the overall contract, which they're trying to get folks to bid on and fill or decide if they're gonna do it or however all of that works. So they're working on filling those gaps. And we don't have specifics on the preliminary numbers because it's still in process, so it's confidential and all of that still, but Peter was pretty optimistic that it wasn't crazy far off where we need to be. So that was good news. We were worried it might be. So there definitely have to be what they call value engineering, which maybe you all know that, but that's a term that was new to me, and which means they bring ideas to the table about how to get it where it needs to be to fit our budget. So we'll be looking forward to that. Peter estimates they might have that conversation ready for like the middle of next week, possibly. So if everything goes well, we look to have all of that information to you all well before your final meeting of the month, which is the 28th, I believe. So like the week before that or whatever, so you can fully digest it. And then have it to you all for potential signature on the 28th, that meeting, if all goes well. And so Peter said that for this building, the contract that Gary looked it over as just sort of a step in the process. So we should plan on having time for Gary to do that,
Yeah.
whatever that looks like, however that fits into that timeline. Yeah, I guess that's it on the construction piece. Any questions about that part?
The other thing I want to add from the conversation we had on Tuesday from the planning team meeting is, if we were to sign the contract, for architectural and building services in the end of October, end of August, he thinks they would start to mobilize on site in September. And Naylor and Breen is estimating a 6-month job. Peter is looking at it and thinking it wouldn't be a stretch to do it in 4.
Mm.
So if it's a 4-month job, let's split the difference. It's a 5-month job. That's October, November, December, January, February. We're done by town meeting.
Right, oh, right, I hadn't thought about town meeting, right?
So, you know, that
Yeah.
would be a huge win. And then the move would happen over the course of the summer.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
So, so the library board is gonna have a strategic planning session, because our 5-year strategic plan expired in June, so we'll have a session to kind of do some planning around the new space and the future and what all that looks like in the middle of September. And we'll have this contract signed hopefully by the end of August, and we'll have more details there. And then we will, just on the communication front, we will plan on doing another like townwide mailing to kind of get everybody up to speed on the plan and the costs and where we're at. Probably end of September, beginning of October, so that will come out. We're also really getting going on our capital campaign. We have a work group who's starting to work on that, and we're looking to probably, our first big push on that will probably be our annual appeal, which usually goes out November-ish. We're gonna just really greatly expand that and really do a much bigger push as a kickoff to a 3-year plan to hopefully raise about $300,000 to both supplement the grant, the grant which we said we would put in, I think $100,000 for furnishings and things the grant doesn't cover. But then also to supplement our budget so that we can function in a new space and pay staff, you know, and do all the things that this bigger space means bigger costs. And so to cover all of that in a way that's not going to make the impact of town taxpayers like do a 90-degree turn. So that is the overall plan on that front. The last thing we need to talk about is we will have to, though, be getting serious about figuring out what we're gonna do for this debt instrument as far as paying the bills as we get them from Naylor and Breen. Those bills are gonna be quite large, you know, 100,000 or 200,000, I don't know what it's gonna look like, or how often they come, but we don't have that money cash on hand, so we need to look into that, and I think, Jenny was gonna talk with the bank that the government bank that the town uses to see what they offer in that realm. I did speak with Heritage, which is where the account lives now, and so I'm getting some information from them about, they say a construction loan probably would be the best thing. It works kind of like a line of credit, and that you only pay interest on what you take out. And if in the scenario being we take out, you know, whatever it is to pay the bill, and then we have to wait, say, the 4 to 6 weeks for reimbursement, and then we pay it back, that we wouldn't have to be paying, and it would only be interest on the money for the period it was out. So that's the woman I spoke with. I forwarded her the grant contracts. They need to assess if just the grant is enough of collateral, or if they would need something else as collateral as far, so we'll need to have that conversation. But I was wondering if you could connect with Gary and just ask him if he has any other boxes that need to be checked as far as debt agreements in the town, and, you know, what, I don't know, what the things that we aren't thinking about that we need to be thinking about, so that we can make sure we have it in place for when they're ready to go. And we don't stumble upon a big roadblock at the last minute.
Okay.
I think that was it. Unless there's any questions.
Thanks
All right,
to the library board for
so,
pushing.
great, we're going.
It is moving.
Oh, and we had a little clip on the news last night. I don't know if folks saw
I
it.
haven't seen it yet. I have the clip.
I heard the clip, and he can forward it to folks so you can see it, or you can search online. It's on WCAX. It was a little thing about the library project and everything. So it was a good piece. So, yeah,
Excellent. Thank you very much.
no problem.
Anything else having to do with town land before I get into the conversation with David?
No word from the engineer on
Nothing.
West Street.
No. He does have the data from the other engineering firm that did the study first, so now it's a matter of whether he's able to schedule or book a survey. So I'll touch base with him again this week. So I dropped off 4 keys to the town garage to David Wright, so our landlord now has keys to the building, which is good. Thank you, Bill. And while I was talking with him, he had a couple things to raise. One is that they've been getting a lot of water in the basement of the Historical Society building. They've apparently got a low spot underneath the back wooden porch, and stuff comes in there and runs underneath, and he's thinking that it's mostly coming off the Firehouse Road. So if there's anything we can do to cut some sort of a water bar and push the water into that center space between the church and the town, that would be great. He didn't have any particular ideas, but he thinks that the runoff is the cause of that. Any thoughts?
I don't know about putting in a water bar. I would think probably that just off the top of my head, not knowing exactly what the problem is. We've eliminated the biggest part of the runoff with the water garden, which isn't finished yet, and we can, by building that road up, putting the culvert in at the end of the water garden to get the water from the north side to go to the water garden.
Yeah.
It'll take care of a lot of it. But what he's talking about, I think probably where the problem is coming off the firehouse roof
It's possible.
and the driveway, and that water has nowhere to drain. I mean, there's a wall all the way out through there. So where it escapes, it would run to the back side of that and under the porch.
Right.
Probably the easiest solution, and I'm not gonna get involved in it, but probably a gutter system on the firehouse with the downspout and run it off the downspout out behind the firehouse.
Right.
Go
Back where
that
their
way.
septic is, right?
But not looking at it.
Yeah, if you want to touch base with David and just see what he's got, that'd be great. He made hand waving volunteer that the historical society might pay for any kind of excavation work that would need to be done, but obviously it's town right away, and so he would have to have permission to do that. So if you and he have a chat and he decides that there's something he wants to do, we can talk about whether or not it's okay for us to permit that. Good. The other thing is that the Historical Society Board is eager to find out what our progress is on the garage so that they can make progress on their own planning for the building. Has the garage committee met at all in the last couple of months?
I thought we were waiting for the engineer. to-
Yeah, I think we can't wait. I'd rather have 2 or 3 bad ideas than we can throw away rather than have one that may come to fruition and may not, especially right now. We don't even know if any human beings work at FEMA anymore. So if we put that proposal into FEMA, we may get nothing for months.
Yeah, but
Right.
you're saying that we need to come up with something. We have no other place to go.
Well, but that's the question. If there are any other brilliant ideas that we can at least look at. You know, we are under a time crunch. We have a year and a half. To rehouse a fleet and fluids and a workspace. And that's gonna evaporate quickly. So if anybody has any, you know, pie in the sky ideas, I think they're worth considering, at least right now, just so that we can be creative and be thoughtful about it. Cause I really can't guarantee when Frank is gonna have a letter of map amendment in hand for us. That could be summer, not this summer, but next.
Well, maybe put a blurb out there that we're under time constraints, and if anyone has property that they would be interested in. Put it out there again and just let people know that eventually you're not gonna, you know, it's probably gonna look to, if we can't come up with something. In the next several years, that everything's gonna have to be contracted out to somebody who does have facilities and stuff that they can work out of.
Right.
And then it's gonna cost the taxpayers some money.
Right.
So put it in that form to them, and maybe somebody will jump out of the bushes.
Do we wanna go down there and look at that site? I think we did quite a while ago, but we've been led to believe the letter of map amendment, whatever is a slam dunk, it's no problem to do. It's just a matter of, finding a real person at FEMA, if there still are any, to do it. But maybe we could go down there with our committee and different viewpoints and look at laying out a building again, laying out the garage in one spot, the transfer station in the other, and whether we do a small sand pile or not, whatever, but maybe we should look at it again and at least get that. And then we could potentially have actual plans or something and see if we can make it fit and.
Right.
And then wait on the engineers to actually, put a backhoe in the ground, but.
Right.
They do need to do something. I think we're probably all pretty sure that.
I mean,
Another piece of plant isn't gonna show up.
the original footprint of the way that it was laid out, I don't see any way that we can change that other than eliminating the sand pile and salt shed.
All right. Yeah, I think the original was fine, but
Right.
without the sand and salt shed, right?
But if we can, do something beyond we have the plan, we have the site plan and we have Bill's plan for the bays. But if we can take that a step down the road and say, how is this gonna get built? Roughly ballpark, what's it gonna cost us? Right, that would be great information to have in hand. Certainly before a town meeting, because we may be giving people the heads up that there's a project coming.
And I know right now, businesses like the Morton Building, they're slow. They've been laying people off and on,
Yeah.
and the way the market's going, they'll get a big jump, have to build 2 or 3 buildings, then it just drops right off.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's gonna happen with everything that's going on with the.
Steel prices,
Yeah.
repairs and everything else, yeah.
Right.
I wonder if. I don't know, it's pie in the sky maybe or whatever, if we have. Naylor and Green here in town doing some work again, if they could give us any. Ideas or any. plans or
They might,
whatever.
as a courtesy, spend, a couple hours down on site and say, if this is what you want, this is how we do it. I mean, Leo's pretty agreeable to doing so.
Yeah. Just a thought, one maybe if we're here sometime.
All right, so that's all I had from David for town lands.
Thank you, Herb.
Yeah, solid waste.
Solid waste, I don't have anything, there was some email yesterday or today about mandatory training for if we collect batteries and what we do and electronics, which we do, and we've had that training. This is probably a refresher or whatever. A couple of the others didn't apply to us. I forget what they were, but we don't do it anyway, so. That's all it was, and they didn't have. Oh, there is a training, I forget when it is. It's a 2-hour training. You can do it either in person or via Zoom. I don't remember what the date was, but I think it was September, but. Anyway, I'm sure Amanda got it, and I'll check with her.
Yeah, check with her, make sure she has that, and I'm sure she'd be eager to.
Is that something that SWAC's doing or?
Yeah, it's
It's
something
something the
that's like they oversee it for us, or coordinate it
Yeah.
for us, yes. And the training, I can't remember where the training was, but I don't know if it was at Casella or if it was. Sometimes we've had meetings at the Rutland Town office, I don't remember.
Okay.
But I've got that email, I'm sure Patty got it, she usually gets it too.
All right. Correspondence.
Correspondence, we're not bad, we had this. Power plan zero thing we can just file relative to $146.83. Who knows, we have a grants and aid. Application, I believe Bill is filled out.
Yeah.
And somewhere, what did I do with it? We have another grant package here somewhere. Another, this is a standard grant agreement from the AOT.
And I think you should be looking at too, who you're gonna designate this to and get it set up with the state and with their, code and everything, it's information on. The connected segments, culvert inventories and all that.
Is that the highway laptop?
Yeah.
So it's small.
Just an actual special fund award this action.
Yeah, I got an email from them saying we got the $15,000 award, so that's what that is.
Match in kind, $3,750, which is a 20% match. The project is,
You know, there isn't,
there isn't one?
you designate that when you just, after you get the grant. Then you go around and designate your connected segments.
Right.
Oh,
What
okay.
grant,
There's that correspondence, and there's a thank you from the American Red Cross, several agencies. Thank you from the American Red Cross, from the Vermont Association for the Blind, and from the Vermont Family Network for our town participation in those funds that they just got. And that's it.
All right. So. This grant agreement here that you got, that I got the email about. Actually has a. Something, has a signature page. There it is. So this one is actually an offer. This one is a grant agreement. Let's look and see if this one has a signature page in there.
I don't think it does.
So is this something that we're being asked to approve tonight, to accept this?
Before
award?
the work can be done, they've got to sign off, the
They have to.
VLT's got to sign off on it, that's gotta be, the letter tells you, right, the cover letter there. It tells you who to send it to, and
Okay. All right,
I believe it says to use this as
right. This is the
letter.
open summary, right, yeah, okay. All right, so in that case, I will make a motion first to accept. The $15,000 grant and aid award. Which obligates us to a $3,750 in-kind match, which will be met with hours and town equipment.
One second.
Thank you.
Sean beat me to it. Yeah.
No, Sean is no longer on. All right, let's see, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I will sign this and get it back, and we will forward this one for next steps for the Daisy Hollow project. All right. Are you ready to walk into board orders?
Board orders. Oh, hang on.
No.
Yeah, three of us.
Three people, three envelopes. All right.
Get our own package. Okay.
Gary, do we get anything from Hubbard's on recycling?
I see somebody cleaned out the guardrails on Plymouth Farm, and they're fixing them today. Was that?
It's happened several times over the past couple of years. I don't know why all of a sudden.
That one, somebody was telling me they met a tractor trailer going real slow or whatever, and you were trying to find a place to turn around, so I think it came down.
I think they're trying to make that turn and the total west Rutland.
Oh, yeah. And there are two, don't have anything in this folder.
Well, Casella's charging us for single stream on the sixth, on the 16th of June and the 19th of June.
That was probably. That's fine. There was a time, couple of days ago, I remember I said, you might not have been here. That was the morning, I don't remember the date on that, was that the date that didn't? They came and took the, well, they didn't take it, they moved the recycle and left it. And it was, you know, where we usually park the grader, they pulled the recycle out and left it there. And that was with Friday. They came up, you know, to plug the things in and they hadn't taken the trash and they hadn't taken the recycle.
But that was before our last meeting,
Yeah,
because this is showing that we had a 1.91 dumpster on the 16th, and then we had a 1.88 dumpster on the 19th.
both for recycling.
Yeah,
Hmm. That's not possible, but.
don't,
John, sorry about our technical difficulties.
No, it was, Jody got home, so I was able to pass that off to her.
Cool.
And that was June, you said, so that was Monday and
Well, that's property.
Monday and the Thursday.
Sale up there been last month. 2 days.
16th and 19th.
It's sold.
yeah,
They've got 2 up. Pretty good substantial offers. So my nephew called
One
them.
home.
well, I don't know if
Well, it wasn't pretty good.
I don't see that Hubbard's has anything except for,
Oh, that was Casella, you said?
yeah, for recyclables.
Yeah, Casella's invoices come in way sporadically. After,
Okay,
they don't match, you know, if Hubbard pulls it on. If Hubbard pulls it on whatever, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You don't get the Casella invoice, I think they invoice us once a month, I believe. Or it might even be once a quarter. Is it one, I think it's once and it's, so they're real hard to follow. You know, and so I always try to tie them back to, because they have ticket numbers on them, I try to tie them back to the. Go, but yeah, I wouldn't be concerned about the days then. On this one, it's Casella Construction, yeah, I believe they are some, that sounds right. Welcome, John.
Second.
Oh. Am I second?
I looked up for you the second one and you were gone.
Yeah. I was trying to stay out until Crystal left since I missed.
Oh, no, not gonna get off that easy. You're cleaning the bathroom at the library for an extra 2 years.
I'm gonna have to, I'm assuming Glenn was secretary again, I'm gonna have to ask.
No, even worse, Beth had to do it, so she also can have words with you.
This one's yours.
Yeah, it's
Just-
I didn't say on my phone alert. I plugged it in, it almost like a storm alert, and it said that there was water in the charger or something, and it wouldn't charge.
Not good.
It's fine, yeah, although that charger doesn't seem to be working anymore, which is weird. But yeah, so I was without my phone and all my alerts and stuff like that did not,
Well, we had cupcakes, so.
You didn't bring any to share with us?
No, I didn't. It was Glenn's birthday. His wife made cupcakes. They're very good, but they didn't make it through the
but
meeting.
he came to the meeting.
He did. God bless him, but he's committed, I guess.
or even if you're, just very silly. Even if your efforts, with slowing people down, don't work that great, I'm very conscious of driving up that road in
Oh, yeah.
35.
Yeah.
Me too.
At least everyone in this room.
Right.
Thank God, don't get 35.
Yeah, I hold it under 40 until we get to the gravel pit, and then all bets are on.
Right, because that's where the police sit, so get past
Yeah.
that.
I was reading the last week, but I knew he wasn't home.
I saw there was a police cruiser from, West Rutland or Rutland for sale. Like
Hmm.
$10,000.
Nice.
That's
Really?
cheaper than some of the speed
Yeah.
limit signs. for
Right, the town should buy a cruiser and just move it.
Just move it around.
Yeah, no, that's been my goal for years, is to buy an old cruiser, and everybody on the select board gets it one day a week.
You just
And
try.
it has the town of Middletown Springs highway decal on the side, right? Put a ski rack on the top so people see something above the roof line, right? Just
You
drive
probably
around.
find one with an auction, man, that auction's pretty cheap.
Right.
Town of Brattleboro did that once years ago, and they had a, dummy of some sort.
Yeah.
Sitting behind the wheel. And it was great, put it all over town, but they got a lot of flack from.
Oh, I bet.
You have money enough for an extra vehicle,
Yeah.
Oh, Brattleboro, if you guys think you have, try being on the Brattleboro select board. That was a terrible job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, Burlington just found $1.5 million deficit that somebody added the number twice, they didn't think about it. It's like, oh, we
How
already
much,
have
$1.5 million?
$1.6
Whew.
And it was literally that somebody added something to one file and then added it to another and didn't think about the duplication.
That mayor.
You're big, they got big numbers, they're dealing with big numbers up there. Woof.
Shot, he put a clamp on the police department, they don't get money, we didn't pay his state dollars, that's pretty doing it, right? Now she just rescinded that, but. She, go back where she came on, where was that?
So.
Has anyone seen the guardrails on 133 and 140?
They were,
Fixing them today.
I was driving, it was two cars, I think.
Yeah.
And I think the one car looked like it was side damage, so I'm thinking maybe
Somebody pulled
they
in.
pulled out without looking and probably got T-boned. I'm
I think
thinking.
the fire department went, I think they got
Yeah,
pulled out. there.
Yeah, the fire department said, yeah, I mean, fire department was there, and they had it on a flatbed already when I was driving home.
I already reached traffic trailer, cut the corner short again.
Was that the Sunday night accident?
That's
I
how.
think it was middle of the day, was that Sunday night?
Nothing much.
Yeah.
This is,
For Patty, you should scan that and send it forward.
Nothing on this one.
I signed the back of that first page, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Great, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Very good. Great.
even here over the sheet. Staying here, 5 or 6 days.
Oh, speaking of crazy things that got signed and sent to us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Terry and I and, I don't know if they feel, they had. Got an email yesterday from a law firm in Burlington with 11 documents attached to it and no preamble at all. Here you go. So I actually called them and I said, be helpful to have a 30-second overview here. And it turns out that the Public Utilities Commission has approved AT&T to replace the equipment that they have on the existing tower on Squire's property in Tennessee. So there's no new construction. It's a tear down and replacement of the existing distribution stuff. And so I said, oh, so we're all gonna be killed by 5G. And she said, oh, you got the memo, good.
The love it when you get a whole bunch of information, with that, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, literally 11 documents without even a hierarchy. Right? And said, okay. I get the general sense of what this is. I've read 3 of them and I don't know what we're being asked to do. And it turns out we're not being asked to do it.
When is it happening, Ron?
They don't have a schedule for the work date, but the approval is as of like 3 days ago. And it's, so here's a trivia question, see who gets this one right. When was the tower approved?
Never was.
Approved by the commission or by this?
By the Public Utilities Commission after
Oh.
getting feedback from all the neighbors and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, probably. Or 2005.
We'll do
That's
that.
my guess.
If you want, you don't have to sign it. If you want to, it's there.
2011.
Huh.
So it's been there for 14
Okay.
years.
We had a very large turnout, public input at the firehouse
I'm sure.
on that.
Mm. And just the geography, the way things work, you don't expect it, you know where the neighboring properties is? Stands out.
Yeah, well,
Right
Yeah,
up against that
funny.
corner there, right? Never would have guessed that.
Yeah, that mountain bike, there's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's,
Well, it's only because Middletown got remapped, surveyed, that portion of the farm came into Middletown. And Timoth has zoning that wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
The access is through Timoth, but
Yeah, now Sally has said that her property is 6 acres in Middletown or in Tinmouth and then 2 acres in Tinmouth and then nothing in Tinmouth. So that border has meandered over the decades.
slide here, Sean.
That was on reason.
yeah, those dates, Carl, on single stream, I don't know how they operate, but. They must.
Doubt if we,
They sit
in
around.
3 days that we did have a second dumpster full of recyclables.
Well, we got rid of our stuff, it must sit around till they, I don't know.
Yeah.
Process.
Yeah, I could have sat at Hubbard's and not taken down. And they dumped it off to bring it back to swap out the next one.
Right.
We don't know.
I'll move to approve. Just because I'm writing it down, that's all I'm trying to go on.
I'll second it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good, thank you. All right, I don't think there's anything legal happening right now. So let's talk about some of the homework that we had from the last couple of weeks. The first one is a draft, and it is a draft RFP for audit services. I've had 3 people weigh in on this. I got some comments from Meredith. I've incorporated those. I've got some comments from Jenny. I've incorporated those, and I had a conversation with Kimberly, who had a couple of questions, but no concerns and made no changes. So what you have in front of you is the most current version of the draft.
Only thing that I was thinking maybe to include in it is the length of time of the firm or whatever has been in business since
Oh, in terms of their qualifications?
yeah, I mean, you have a little bit, you ask for their history a little, but just something like that, especially since we're asking them to hold the documentation for a minimum of 3 years.
Right.
It'd be good to know that they've been around for
Right.
more than 3 years already, yeah. That they'll, a better chance that they'll be around in 3 years, right?
Right. I could do that.
I forget, do you post that on the state of Vermont bulletin board or whatever, or did we send that out to specific firms?
We did both.
We did both.
We did
Last
both,
time it was
yeah.
a firm from Barry, is that right?
Graham and Graham, wasn't it?
I don't
remember.
I don't remember what.
still have hours.
So,
Right.
I thought that-
Googling that for us, Sean.
Oh, good. I did
You're on top
Google
of
it. It's, by the way, the mosquito disease, it's Jamestown, or I think it was.
The Jamestown Canyon virus.
Yeah, not, it was some other town or some other place that you gave, I think initially.
It was, well, yeah.
Whatever.
Jamestown?
Yeah.
Ooh, James.
Montpelier, Sullivan Towers.
Okay.
Miami Graham was the one
Yeah, all right.
before that.
Okay, so obviously the things that are in red in here for the most part are dates that we have to settle on and whatnot. There is one question that, the treasurer raised the, possibility that we might add, on page, whatever it is, page 5 at the end. The cost proposal should be structured as follows, and it'll be the total price, not to exceed, blah, blah, blah. And the treasurer would like to add the following: the price for the audit should separate remuneration between town financials and municipal library financials, particularly the grant analyses.
So the reason I'm proposing that is, like, two reasons. One, I want to be able to compare, even though prices have probably come up, what we're paying for the town audit this time versus
Right.
last time, just to see if the numbers seem feasible. And then just to separate out the financial pieces, because, I think it's just important to see that.
So I know at, not the last meeting, but the meeting before, you had, put forth the idea that the library should contribute financially to
I
the.
suggested it, so it's up to the select board, my suggestion.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
guys decide.
yeah, and the reason I didn't accept that just immediately without comment like I did all the others is that this really is a town audit. And the town is responsible for, and one of the recommendations that the audit firm had last time is that we need to have tighter oversight of the library. We need to treat the library as a town function and supervise their work. So it seemed, and we've been bugged by the auditors for 2 years to get an audit going, so it's not as though this is only being triggered now. So my own thinking is that this is a town audit, which is a single function that the town pays for. And the town has been putting money away to do that. I do, however, take your point that having the town audit separated out does allow us to say, well, they charged us 24 grand last time, this year it's 28 plus the additional amount to look at the grant balance. So I hear that. I don't disagree with that, but I do disagree, I think, with the idea that the library is somehow independently on the hook for some component of it.
Your decision, just throwing it out there.
Yep.
But
We obviously have to, we're gonna write one RFP, so we have to decide whether or not that's in there. So what do folks think?
having that in there, what I said does not obligate the library to pay.
I
Right,
understand that.
I think that makes sense. I think it would be good to know how much that, I mean, I'm curious, does having a big grant, I mean, the assumption is that having a big grant like that would make it more expensive. But maybe it
Maybe
doesn't,
not.
maybe it doesn't,
Yeah, right.
maybe they're just like, well, that's just one of the things you're doing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
probably not, probably it's more expensive, it's a.
Well, and it's an interesting question, because the last time we
It would
had
be good
an
to
audit
know.
done, we had highway grants that were included.
Mhm.
And they did look at the Karen Road grant as part of what they were balancing. So the fact of the dollar amount of the grant may not, I don't know how much of it is unit cost, fixed cost,
Yeah,
and how much of it is per dollar cost, right?
Yeah.
So if they're going to look at grant awards, that's part of the service they provided last time as well. So I'm not sure. It's an interesting question.
It's an interesting question, yeah, I don't know if it's. It'd be interesting to see, as Jenny said, comparison last time to this time, probably, no doubt the price is gonna be higher. Just because of whatever, 8 years, 10 years.
Well,
down
that,
the
right,
road.
right, so,
Mhm.
yeah.
But it would be interesting if the library component makes it substantially
Right, is it
different,
50%
incrementally different.
yeah,
And as far as paying for it, it's kind of a moot point because the library is the town and we
right,
support whatever 90% or
Right.
whatever the library budget anyways.
yeah,
So that's not really a.
yeah. The only other question I was thinking, I'm sorry, I didn't think of this before. is the stipulation around if we spend $1 million out of the grant, then there needs to be an audit. I don't know how grants or audits work, but. So if we spend $1 million in any one fiscal year, we have to audit the grant. I guess, but this audit, the grant wouldn't be over. Is that gonna make a difference? Cause the
No,
grant
'cause-
doesn't close out till December.
Right, but they would be auditing the expenses that.
Okay, so that's
Of
fine,
that
it's not like they
$1
will,
million in a
okay,
fiscal
I just was like, well, maybe they can't do it till
And,
December.
right, and so this is. The doing the town audit here, assuming that we spend more than $1 million.
Yeah,
Doing the town audit is equal to or beyond what the federal government would
Okay.
require.
Yeah.
Because the federal government would require us to audit the grant expenditures and how they were accounted for.
in just that.
But
period.
it does say very specifically, we reserve the right to look at the entirety of the organization
Right,
at the same time.
but it doesn't
So-
require that the whole grant be part, like, they don't have
Yeah,
to
they
see
would
the
be
whole
looking at-
grant.
right.
They could just see this part of it,
Right.
and that checks the box. I just worry, like, we don't wanna do this and then find out later, like, oh, well, you didn't do the
Yeah.
whole thing, you have to do it
Unless-
again for the whole.
Unless we spend another $1 million in the next
Yeah.
fiscal year.
All right, good.
And we'll be remote, I mean, by what, June 3rd?
Right.
So we'll be through.
Ideally, right, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe by the time they actually come to do it, it will be wrapped up, but,
Yeah.
and then they can look at it if they want it, I suppose.
How long, does anybody remember how long it took them from when they started reviewing the records and?
I wanna say it was like 4 months, does that sound right?
And that even seems long,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, we provided them a fair bit of material before they ever walked in
Yeah.
the door,
Okay.
but they spent a week on site. And then they had material back to us within like 6 weeks or
Yeah, I
something.
think so. Yeah.
And it seemed pretty quick.
Yeah.
And they get, like every audit, we have the chance to respond and say, well, okay, we disagree with this finding, or there's something you didn't take into account or whatever. So there's a follow-up period, but it was pretty timely, they were good.
So they'd
We
be,
did buy them sandwiches every day, so there's that, but.
so we'd probably be looking at like late August, or early September. You want it to be done?
Well, that's one of the reasons why we're trying to get it on the calendar now. The last time they did an audit, it was spring of the following year. We sent them material in like January and they were here late spring, et cetera.
Okay.
So it was within the subsequent fiscal year.
Mhm.
They were looking at the most recent, fresh, completed year. But would they start right away? Would they start in September or would they start in January last week? Don't know. That's something, that's actually something we should include here, which is.
Cause the fiscal year has to end, and then you have to like wrap
Right,
up
you
all
have
your
you
business
have your
and,
year-end closeouts and.
oh, okay,
Right.
so it's not like it starts right then, they have, if
But
there's,
one of the things I should include in the proposal requirements is their proposed schedule.
oh, right, yeah, when can they?
Yeah, I add that. Okay, so what I heard tonight is that I'm going to add the age of the firm or the years in existence. I'm going to add the bullet point that Jenny has recommended. And I'm going to add in the
Schedule.
proposal requirements, the schedule.
Start after the 1st of August. I guess that would give us a month to finalize the end of our year.
Yep.
So we're not tied to the 10th of July to start.
We don't jump right in as soon as you walk out the door, right?
I have a couple just housekeeping.
Okay,
things.
good, thank you.
They might seem
Yeah, that's-
nitpicky to some, but that's what I do, so, on page 1, 2, and 3,
Page 3, description of the government, yeah,
jumping down to the town has 4 paid employees.
right,
Third line, it said, the library director and assistant librarian are paid from the, I would like to change stipend to appropriation,
okay,
that the town voters approve.
that's, makes sense.
And then the final line of that paragraph, I'm not quite sure what we're trying to convey, but it's the part that says the town offers contributions to retirement
Yeah.
for its town clerk and its 2 full-time employees. maybe, can we generalize that? Like, are you looking to say what we do now or what we do offer anytime?
Yeah, actually,
It's-
it's an interesting question. We could
Yeah.
just take the language out of the personnel policy and say all qualifying full.
Or we could say, yeah, for employees that
Yeah.
work 30+
Yeah.
hours a week is what I was thinking, so then
Yeah,
that includes anybody, even library people.
Yeah, whoever it happens to be,
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Two more things, two little things.
got it. Thank you.
The next paragraph where we're talking about fiscal year 2026,
Yeah.
the operations budget, what it is. And then the last line, the municipal library budget.
Yeah,
So we're talking top
Yes.
5 for that. But
So I
if we
don't
did
know.
it for FY 2026.
yeah, you know what the budget is?
49929.00.
499.
So $49,929. For fiscal year 2026.
49,929. Good, thank you.
Fiscal year 26.
Got it.
And then the final one is on the next page, where, it says who is performing pre-audit work. Town staff. I really would like to add town staff and library staff will perform
Okay.
pre-audit work because the library holds all the,
That makes sense.
grant information, so.
Good.
Otherwise. I
Okay.
don't have anything else.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I will build a revised version, bring it to the next meeting, and we can, if we are happy, we will approve it and get it put out in the mail. And see what kind of fish we hook. Good, thank you for that. All right, next two pieces of homework are the two job descriptions that we put forth. Let's start with. We'll find my here. Let's start with the select board assistant. So this is taken partly from my own experience of the things that I do on a regular basis. It's also taken from a memo that Patty Kenyon sent about the things that she does that are not really part of the town clerk's scope, but are in support of the select board. And where it says grants, I'm assuming because she does a lot of work right now with the preparation and documentation of highway grants, I would assume that that would become part of this position. So that if we have a grant to submit, that this position would be responsible for that, whether it's highway or whether it's town general. And then preparing RFPs and job application material. General board support about mailing things that the board has completed. And then I put in a sort of plain language, what a job posting might look like. So does anybody have modifications to that?
Did you get my email from her?
I got your email, I haven't done
You
that.
want me to print it out? It's just a list of additional duties.
Oh,
that
sure, that'd be
Can be
great,
included in this.
that'd be great, thank you.
I would think what you do before each meeting where you have kind of the agenda and all of that. Especially with, Terry getting the notes over and stuff like that, that I would think would be a select board assistant.
It's possible, it depends, I don't mind putting an agenda together and I go out on Tuesday and put it up at the store. and
Oh, it's not even
Post
the
office,
agenda would be,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying
but
like,
building the
all
board
of-
packet,
yeah.
yeah, that's true, we could do that. Because there always is a raft of documents that we need to consider.
Right.
So what I'm printing out is, things that. That's the right place. Or administrative duties and personnel duties and some bookkeeping duties that don't tie to the town clerk or the town treasurer's responsibilities or. And that the select board needs.
I was also thinking with the, where you mentioned hours per week. We're estimated to require fewer than 10 hours per average week. The weeks that we have the meeting might be an hour more, the weeks that we don't, so average, yeah, but I was thinking doing like a 8 to 10 hours a week or something.
Yeah. I think if somebody actually has like this material in their pocket and doesn't have acres of other things going on, I think it's more like 5 to 10.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
It would be 5 on the dead weeks and 10 on the meeting weeks probably.
but even that,
Yeah.
and I agree with that, but then I'd say, yeah, just
Yeah.
having that range is really gonna be, every other week would be a little busier. How long does that grant audit, like how?
I haven't done it.
Okay.
I think it's just like a piece of paper that you have to fill out
Okay.
and just take, I think just saying if the grant was fulfilled or not.
So it's not ours.
No, that one's not.
Yeah. And things that happen, annually or semi-annually, you amortize that over the course of the year. It's not a lot of time.
It's only hours if the information is not there and you can't
Right.
tie the grant to
Yeah, something's
whatever code they have.
Right. I mean, every time I get a request to file an annual report for a grant, I have this moment of terror because I don't know what grant number it is. Right? Because I have other things to do.
The bill knows usually, grant numbers.
Right.
Right up until September 30th, Bill, no.
All right, so I can add these to the description. But one of the things that we should talk about tonight is what are we gonna pay this person? What do we pay our assistant town clerk right now, you know?
1575 just went up.
Go ahead.
You know, that annual benefits compensation booklet that the PLCT puts out, I wonder if they would have any positions comparable to that you could look at the
That's
wages.
interesting.
Yeah, earlier this spring, when the first player talking about it, or early this winter, I spoke with Joe Flinger a couple of times on this. He thought it was a great idea, whatever, but I think his suggestion was, I don't know, 22 to 25 an hour or something like that. No. Get it. It's just one for less or not.
It's gonna be hourly rate for a select board assistant in Vermont ranges from 18 to 25 per hour.
Wow. Who needs artificial intelligence? We have our own.
That was it. So to me, that's
Right. I mean, I'd put 18 on the table as an opening bid. And see if anybody rises to that. It would be a great job for somebody who was retired or just, wanted to keep their hand in for something interesting.
And then Vermont League of Cities and Towns, they have a Chittenden select board, they have a posting for Chittenden, I guess, on there, so I guess that's, we putting that up. But there's a part-time hourly position with an expectation of 4 to 6 hours per typical work week. In-person attendance at select board meetings is required. Looking at, oh, right, so, yeah, so attend, I don't think we have, attend the annual town meeting.
Annual town meeting, that would be probably useful. I think attending these meetings would not be
Mhm.
important, but being present at town meeting would be maybe useful. So we have budgeted for the year, $7,500. If you were to pay $18 an hour, that'd be 400 hours. That's 8 hours a week. On average,
Which sounds like
Which
more
would
than.
be-
I mean,
which would be in
Chittenden
ballpark.
is 4 to 6.
right?
The one thing they have here is that they run the remote meeting technology for the select board meetings.
Yeah,
You might want.
yeah.
It has provided some headaches before, right?
Does that position, shouldn't cover all the. Everything that they're looking for in the job description here?
That's, I'm kind of going through it right now. And, I mean, they do mention about the draft distributed post and finalized meeting agendas and minutes, including regular, special, or emergency meetings. Provide meeting agenda drafts and final minutes, warnings, and other documents to the clerk's office and town website manager, as well as update other sections as requested by the select board. Prepare the work with the town clerk to prepare the warning for the annual meeting. And assist in preparation of the town report, research.
Sean, if you could send me a link to that, that would be productive.
Sure.
I would look that over and see what we might be missing.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So I'll fill that in and bring it to the next meeting, and I'll put 18 in as our ghost number and see what we want to talk about from there. Good, thank you.
Is that 8,000 a separate line item?
It's 7,500, I think, and
Okay.
yeah, it's administrative support. or
Under
something.
clerical,
Yeah,
okay,
is it 75?
75
Yeah.
I see here.
Yeah. Okay, so now the second position description that we had on the table, let me close that, go back to my folder and open the other one, town facilities management. Okay. So this is something that Isaac and Patty put together, and I didn't change much of it except to write the sort of plain language job posting that we might include there. So, any thoughts about what you're seeing here?
My question is just, does this person, that includes all town properties?
Yes. My assumption
Okay.
is that this would cover garage, transfer station, library, town office, cemetery, West Street.
Right, okay,
If it's a town asset,
then that's
this
included.
person's got the oversight.
So how would that work if this person reports to the select board? So, for example, if the library needs work done, does the library have to go to you and make more work for you guys rather than, like, I was thinking maybe this person could still be hired and have that responsibility, but maybe this person goes directly to the library when the library needs them and directly to the select board for the other town properties. My thought process just follows the way the library has been operating as a department of the town, an independent. And they have the responsibility and to run the library how they see fit, including their facility or any building that they're in charge of, no matter where it's come from. So to me, it makes sense and less of a headache to have, it could still be the same person, but
Mhm.
just kind of keep it separate and still, again, keep it separate in the budgets.
Yeah. And-
Because unless I'm missing something here, or maybe the direction is the direction of the town and library to meld into one big thing, or maybe Crystal, you can,
Yeah.
you might figure that out in your
Right.
updating your plan, but
Mhm.
it's been all these years, a
Yeah.
separate department with its own trustees that make the decisions and financially run the library
Mhm.
in terms of policies, expenses, maintenance of their building. I know it's gonna be a lot more work for you
Right.
guys, so I get having a person doing that.
Yeah,
But I would ask you all to think about just still keeping it separate.
Yeah.
Because I think it's gonna run into a lot of extra work for both of you to have to talk to each other.
Mm.
To say, I need this, I need that, can you do this?
And my thinking is that, given that the town insures all of its buildings. That, you know, if the library if the library had a separate contractor and we disagreed with their snow removal, for instance. I think we'd override them, because it's our insurance. And if, you know, if Bill needs something done at the garage. Of course, he'd call me and say, I need this done at the garage, and I would either say yes, or I would put it before the board if it was a larger expense. So I really do feel like, as a town asset. And we could, if we wanted to, be the library's landlord for $1 a year. And that would still obligate us to maintain safe premises and probably do snow removal and probably do lawn care. Most landlords do. So I feel like it is a town building that we offer to use to the garage, to the highway department, or to the library, or to solid waste services. But the financial responsibility for it is at this table.
Have you read the law of the libraries or the statutes? Because there's
Yeah,
pretty specific
I've read them long ago,
recommendations
but
here, I know
yeah,
Crystal is familiar with, so.
yeah.
I think just because we signed the purchase agreement or we signed the grant agreement for the library does not mean it's the town's purview to make sure that things get done at the library. That is why we have library trustees who are the closest to it and they know what they need. Example, snow plowing this year, they were included as part of the package that was discussed with whoever was plowing at the time, and it turned out not to be a good system for the library, and they have different hours and they got a cheaper rate. They know exactly what's going on. Again, I'm not saying that you take on the work yourself. Well, hiring a person is great, but pretty much the town is the we're the whole. We own the property that they're in now. Did we ever do this with their maintenance? No. Just because this is a newer, bigger building, why does that change what the town's responsibility is to the library?
And my argument is that we always should have been. We
Well,
always
that's-
should have been.
Right, but
So-
that's your opinion.
That's-
Precedent and the law of the libraries and our town voting trustees is different than what your opinion is.
Yeah.
So I think we'd have to have a big discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would definitely be a shift in how it's always worked.
Mhm.
And the current building, that's not how it always worked, but that was. In a time when that was really the only building the town owned, and there wasn't an infrastructure to manage properties, and so that's just sort of how it always happened. But I don't know that being precedent means that was how we should always do it. I think the library laws is clear, and at the same time it's unclear.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
terrible
yeah.
law. It's clear that the trustees get to decide what to do with the money and property that's designated for library use, so we get to decide on what happens, but it doesn't say anything about who is ultimately responsible for it.
Sure.
And I think, I mean, it's a question maybe for Gary and
That's
his
what I was just gonna say.
interpretation of
Yeah,
the law,
that's
like.
why God invented lawyers.
Right, so that they could,
To get one opinion.
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, it might just be having to shift like how we think about it a little bit. It seems a little bit like
Yeah.
semantics and how you take those. But it is a conversation about how we want to move forward. Now that the town does have a much larger portfolio of
Mhm.
capital like infrastructure. How do we want to
Right.
how do you want to manage that going forward? And what is the easiest or the most streamlined for both the entities and also for the treasurer who has to make sure the numbers work and, you know, there's a lot, which I don't know the answer to that question, but
Right.
it is good. I think it'll be good to have someone who knows more about buildings. I mean, our little current building, we have a pretty good sense of things, and
Right.
when we need something fixed, we call whoever we call, a guy, and come and he fixes the railing, or he does this, or you know, we haven't been very formal about it. We don't really have anything in our budget as a regular line item about maintenance. If things happen, we kind of figure it out, and
Yeah. So now you'll put something
and
bigger in the
correct.
budget.
So now
Right.
it'll be
Uh-huh.
managed differently.
Right.
And maybe it's the person billing to two pots, I mean, maybe it's,
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I just brought it up to think about
Yeah.
it, you, yeah.
Yeah, that's a real good point, it's kind of like Jenny's train of thought there, and if the thing isn't broken the way we've been doing it for however long, maybe we shouldn't change it just for the sake of now we own more buildings. And
Yeah.
the trustees, certainly they're in the library, whatever, they have a much better handle on what's going on, or if something is
Right.
working, needs fixing,
Right.
or whatever, and we've got
Yeah.
enough on our plate that we don't need something else,
Yeah.
that we really don't know a
Right.
whole hell of a lot
Yeah.
else, if I don't.
But I also would like someone whose job it is to check, because
Yeah,
we
well,
don't know.
Right.
I mean,
stay
we'll
on it.
know if the heat goes out,
Oversee,
but
yeah.
I don't know if the pressure is running hot on the things that Jason, you know, like somebody who's checking in on all those
Right.
things. And it's their job, because we aren't gonna know unless something breaks.
And
Maybe
just-
somebody's job could be to like know
and just
before it
things like
breaks.
changing filters and buying toilet, right? That's somebody's
Yeah.
job.
Yes,
Right.
right, and just
So-
making sure we've got enough, and
Everybody notices this.
right, everybody's a problem if it runs out, but nobody is like, I thought you, who was doing it?
Alright.
Yeah.
So, I will check with Gary and see what his recommendation is about that. But I do think that, so what's the next step? How do we actually determine how we want to handle it?
That's a great question.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel like, I feel like. A little bit, it feels like they're making it more complicated than it needs to be, like maybe it can be simpler and we're just overcomplicating it, because that's what I tend to do. Is make them more complicated than they need to be. I don't know, I wonder if. I don't know the money systems, like I don't understand why it can't be just one sort of central pot of money that's billed by two different sort of avenues. I don't know. But if that's not a way to make it work, I don't know if it's just making some guesses about building a certain part into the library budget and a certain part, and does that really, I mean, we want to know how we're gonna pay it, but as far as getting the person, they don't need to know where the money's coming from, like, they just need, but
Right.
maybe it's just figuring out, here's what we want to pay them, and do we just split it evenly, or did the town being they have this and also West Street? I
Right.
mean, what is the percent?
Right,
And we just kind of plug those into the budget.
right.
We
There are
build
ways to
forward.
help you with that, it's not as
Yeah.
complicated as,
Yeah,
yeah.
One of the things I am concerned about is that if this is one person, I would like them to have one supervisor.
oh, I see.
And
I think-
not be yanked around in multiple directions by two different competing entities.
Oh, that, I don't think, I mean, we haven't talked about it as a board, but I don't have any desire to supervise that person. I would think we would just be.
But if you get to call them up and say, do this, that's supervision.
Yeah, so how does that work,
Right.
right? That's why I said there's another layer in here
Right.
that,
Yeah.
that's, to me, is more complicated than how you divide and how
Right,
you finance it.
I mean, I
Because
guess,
then
but,
it's onto the select board again to have to manage that building.
The person
When
is
it's-
pulled from,
Yeah.
yeah,
pulled from, say, Crystal. or-
Well, yeah.
Pulled from us, yeah.
okay, so but supervision in what realm, like what is the responsibility of that supervisor? Cause many places do with what's called matrix supervision, where they do have a couple of people, like there's their main supervisor, but they're also supervised by like the program director who actually understands the work that they do, and both have, but one person's like the main person, so why can't you be the main person, but the library board would also be able to visit, and,
If
I
we
mean,
can
you
figure
know,
out how to do that, we could do it.
yeah.
It's,
I mean,
it's,
if supervisor has to write a performance evaluation, or there's work that's attached to that, then that's something we wanna figure out how we share that, but. if that's not the case, and the supervisor is just a person they call if they have issues.
No, the supervisor also sets the scope of work.
Yeah,
And sets the,
I think we keep Sean on the select board and.
yeah, there you go.
there you go.
He's a- he does
It's all yours.
Or you can
Sean,
decide.
congratulations.
Yeah,
Perfect,
Thank you, Sean.
done, good, thank you.
What have you
I
done?
mean, I'm doing a great job with the library right now.
Yeah.
perfect.
I was gonna say that one.
All right, very good. So progress towards other priorities. Thank you, by the way, everybody, for feedback on all three of these complex documents. I appreciate it.
And then in this
Yeah.
piece, you read my email about?
I haven't read it. I
Okay.
haven't looked at my email since 11 o'clock. I
Okay.
have 50 of them,
All right,
so.
well, okay, well, the town facilities manager posting, the third paragraph needs to be changed because it still talks about a board assistant.
Oh, yes, thank you. Good, got that, thank you. Cut and paste error. And again, we can talk a little bit about what we expect the hourly rate to be. This is not really a carpenter. This is at least in part somebody who supervises putting things out to bid and, you know, I'm not sure what, you know. Is this a Glen Tarmal, Matt Kenyon kind of job, or is this a clerical kind of job? I don't know. Yeah, keep that back here. Next week.
Yeah.
So Crystal, maybe when you get together with the board next time, or as you think of it, just jot down things that you
Yeah.
might need to be tended to that
Yeah,
you want somebody else to handle.
oh,
And-
right, yeah.
And then, yeah, and then we can kind of like eyeball it and figure out how much time it might take and
Mm,
what wage apply to that, and then that
yeah,
could work into the budget.
yeah, I mean, I would think,
Select board could do the same.
yeah, I think I mean, it feels like it only really makes sense if it's a person who they themselves can do the things.
Sometimes.
To me, I mean, not all the things,
Right.
I really not all the things, but
Replace it.
not solely clerical, like you don't wanna be like, oh, I have to find somebody to change the filter. or
Maybe
to-"
Andy Floyd.
Right, yeah, so that's his name,
Yeah.
like, I can't remember his name.
That-
but
that-
that's
I know,
okay.
I've always had a hard time.
Yeah, that, yeah, so that kind of
That's like,
person,
yeah.
but yeah, so.
And what kind of number did we have in the budget for that job?
I don't think we have anything in the budget for that. That's one of the things that got nibbled out of the select board assistant. So,
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mhm.
I don't think we had anything specific for that.
Is there enough money in the maintenance budgets to cover it? No.
Town property maintenance went to 5,000.
okay,
2,500,
Mhm.
but we spent 5,024.
Yeah.
5,100, so.
and that was primarily probably plowing, you know. And. All right. So,
Sorry to keep going on this, but just trying to
Yeah.
think, I mean, I don't know if it's a solution potentially that. The select board is like the supervisor of that person or someone, whoever it is the town supervisor, but that there's some sort of like MOU with the library board that they, I don't know, I just feel like.
yeah, I
There's
mean.
gotta be a way to simplify it
Well,
and make
right,
it.
I mean, one of the things we could do is kind of the equivalent of a lease agreement.
Yeah,
That these are the responsibilities of providing the building, these are the responsibilities of operating the building.
mhm,
This is who's responsible for which, right? And the fact that there's no money involved doesn't mean that it's not still an agreement
mhm.
about ownership and management.
Right,
So
right,
yeah, that would be a reasonable thing to do,
mhm.
given the vagueness of the Vermont Law of Libraries. it would be
Right,
good
to
for us
formalize that somehow.
Sort of lay out our own expectations.
It's
Yeah.
vague until it's not.
If it's vague until somebody wants.
When you need it to work in your favor.
Yeah,
Exactly, exactly.
So who on the select board would be in charge of this person?
Probably the select board chair.
Hmm. So I'm just thinking future and, yeah.
Maybe the new assistant.
One possibility would be that that it would be under the select board, with the chairman being the contact person for this individual, and the chairman of the library trustees being the contact person for the library. So we, each type of facility had a contact person, but it would be under the hiring and firing of the select board.
Right, the board as a whole would be responsible, yes,
I think
yeah,
that was the part that when I read these, that I thought should be in there, because it would be the select board that's hiring,
yeah.
select board that's firing, but the contact person would be the chairman of the select board, and in this case, the chairman of the library trustees, and that would create the same person, but for two different facilities, types of facilities, and
That makes sense.
Cool. Yeah.
and that
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
it doesn't have to come back to us to go back to them.
Right, that's what we wanna avoid, is having to
Yeah.
like come to
That's what I
this
was trying to
meeting
say,
to get to, you know, that like. Ping
No.
pong back and forth, like how we can make that more, and I mean, yeah, they'll both be fairly new facilities, so hopefully. There won't be too much.
And
The library person can fill out a timesheet for what they do for the library.
Right,
and a timesheet
that
for
is
what they do for the
documented,
town.
yeah. So you
And
have that
we pay them
separation,
that way.
yeah, so the money can work
Yeah.
out in the way that it needs to, but.
And God willing, we'll have a garage, and I can take care of that. How do you go?
They can Add that to their list.
All right. Again, thank you.
Yeah.
So progress toward priorities, town garage, facilities management, the approved vendors list, I'm still completely bewildered on that. And the revision of town office water system is underway.
Now,
Go ahead.
we have no way of knowing our situation with a holding tank without checking it.
Is that true? There's no gauge,
Well, until the alarm goes off.
but there's no ongoing
No,
gauge.
no, see, there's no,
Okay,
so with our new system, it shouldn't take that much, but we don't know the situation of the tank, because we were on a 10-week cycle
all right.
of pumping, so. If there's no objections, I can get some idea.
Well, this, yeah, we are on automatic penalty.
No, that's what she was
Yeah,
before.
between the flush and the
Because we
AC.
know
off,
we
that's
should be
about-
getting a whole heck of a lot less
Yeah,
on
right.
it, because we changed the back flush.
Right.
And we're not getting the condensation out of the heating system, the cooling system. So next time, if we pump that, then we'll know we're back to zero, and then the gauge in there should give us a pretty accurate idea how much is going through, right?
But I should be able to just uncover it and stick the
Right.
tanks to see if we're almost to the high side of it, or if we got months to go. You know,
Yeah,
we have no
Yeah.
data.
is it if it's not a 10-week cycle, is it a 20-week cycle or a 40-week cycle,
Wow.
right? We don't know, right? Okay. Good.
Because once we get to that point, we can, because everything's done on usage now. And the water meter will tell us usage. And so we'll know how often it backflushes. You know, based on our
Right.
usage.
Based on usage, right.
I think what I heard him say that day was it had 700 gallons more to go before it would cycle. I think that's what I heard him say that day. And we were using less than 100 gallons a month here, I think, 140
Right.
gallons or something, I think is what Patty said when I'd asked her that day.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, on a 25, a 20, I think 2,500 gallons pump cycle, you know. We could go twice a year,
Right.
we may get down to twice a year, so.
Right, yeah. All right, so at this point, I would make a motion to go into executive session to conduct our annual personnel reviews. Inviting the members of the board to stay and inviting our friends to have a wonderful evening.
It's up to you.
I'll second, you did need your.
Thank you. I'll do that in a second.
Thank you, Robert.
Thanks, Robert.
Good night, Robert.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. We will,
Tomorrow morning. Yeah, whatever, either. Wanna meet?
About 9:30.
Thanks for your work, everybody.
thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
I'll catch up with you some more about 9:30.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll come back to regular meeting, 9:20 PM. We have two motions. The first motion is that we will increase Bill Reed's rate of pay for to $28 an hour beginning July 1st, 2025. In recognition of his commercial driver's license and in parity with the recent hire.
No second.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
That pause,
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for that. The second motion. In light of tonight's successful personnel reviews, we approve a 2.5% pay wage increase for Philip Mahar, Bill Reed, and Amanda McGill, effective July 1st, 2025.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. I would move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Thank you. It is 9:22 PM. Thank you very much. Let's turn the recording on.